Congress of South African trade unions has threatened to bring Cape Town to a standstill tomorrow when it stages a march against violent crime in the Western Cape. In a long list of demands, the Union Federation wants an end to gang violence, regular police patrols, as well as improved safety at railway stations. Premier Alan Winde said the planned march is misguided. Joining us now to explain the objective of the march further is Cosatu Western Cape Provincial Chairperson Motlatsi Tsubane. Motlatsi, good evening, and thank you very much for your time and joining us tonight on In Focus. Yeah, the Premier is saying this is not the time to be marching when you'll be needing to jumpstart the economy of the Western Cape and creating jobs. And I suppose saying he agrees with a majority of law-abiding citizens in the country that, yes, crime is out of hand, but this is a counterproductive way of addressing the matter. What's your response?
No, good evening, and good evening to the viewers. I think this is precisely the problem that we are having with Premier Winde. He will always object because we have called or we have requested them to have an engagement with us as Cosatu in the province in order for us to raise a number of issues that are grey areas. And they have blatantly refused to meet with us. Now, for him to come and say that this is counterproductive, it's not here or there, because this is not counterproductive. Our people in the communities are suffering. They are being killed day in and day out. They are being robbed day in and day out. So now we have decided as a federation that there is something that we have to do at the end of the day. We have sit with them in Netlek discussing these issues. They have been shifting the goalpost. They have been blaming national government. They don't want to come to the party because they want to take over. They want to take over the provincial police or SAPS.
Yeah.
So now for him to come in that we are counterproductive, it's just problematic because we don't want to go into insults with him. What is important, we are focusing on what we are doing. We are focusing on the interests of workers and the broader communities where we are staying.
Yeah. But he says, I mean, you are dealing here on a matter of policing, right? The South African National Police Service, which has all the government money to deal with these issues, some of these issues that you're raising, more police on the ground and so on and so forth, is something that should actually be addressed at national, and hence they would probably find more value in you putting pressure on your alliance partners on this question of a devolved police service that is more localized.
What is happening here, what we are calling on as a federation is that let's have a collaborated approach in terms of dealing with the problem that we are sitting with in our communities. The city of Cape Town is having a lot of resources. What they are doing, the programs that they are involved in are counterproductive because what they do is to duplicate what the police are doing. Now, what we are saying, bring those resources that we are having and let's join hands here so that at the end of the day, because this thing is not only affecting us, it's also affecting them. But now when deployment of resources are being made, those resources given by national government is deployed where they have an interest in areas where there are businesses in white areas. So now we are saying, let those African and colored areas also benefit from those resources. Now we are saying to the city of Cape Town, they have just employed a number of law enforcement agencies or law enforcement officials. Now we are saying, bring those resources to the table. The provincial government also must bring those resources that they have to the table and join force with national government in order for us to address the challenge that we are faced with.
So you're saying their approach of law enforcement advancement plan, the LEAP officers, Not necessarily saying it's a waste of resource, but you're saying it's a resource that should be brought to the table to be incorporated in the broader plan to fight crime, or otherwise you're saying it's just a duplication.
No. We are saying it's not waste of resources, but they must bring those resources to the table, join force with national government, than this blame game that they're playing. We are not interested in the blame games that they're playing. What we are interested in is for our communities to be safe. For an example, I can tell you, as far as the law enforcement depots are concerned, there is a depot in the area where I come from. There is a depot in Lipi. There is a depot in Delft. But those people who have those law enforcement officials who are there at those depots, they don't serve our areas. You see, they will be deployed outside the areas where they have their depots. You see, so now, and those are the very same areas where crime is. Why don't you utilize them in those areas where they are deployed? In order for you to have their services, you must first make a request in order for them to deploy those officials there. How can you do something like that? But you see, where you operate from, the area is full of crime. Why don't you assist the SAPS in terms of addressing the challenge that those communities are faced with?
Yeah. According to your statement, this march is also against the high fuel prices that have been seen across the country in particular. Is that the best way you think you can deal with the rising fuel prices, as opposed to, once again, putting pressure on your alliance partners to review the structure of the price of fuel and certainly do away with certain things that are wasteful within the structure to help bring some relief to the people?
That's correct. What we are calling upon national government. But in the same vein, we are also saying to the city of Cape Town, because now our approach is three-pronged. We are going to the city of Cape Town, we are going to the provincial government, we are going to national government. We have not leave out national government. We are also calling upon business and also the provincial police, provincial commissioner. We are also going to hand over a memorandum to all of them. Now, what we are saying, in the same vein that we are saying national government must deal with the petrol price issue, we are also calling upon the city of Cape Town in terms of water tariffs, in terms of electricity. Remember 5 years ago, we had a water challenge in the Western Cape. And they said people must use water properly and they must make it a point that they save water. Now, they have increased the tariffs of water, but when we moved away from from the water problem, what then happened?
Day
they
zero.
Never decrease or day zero. They never corrected or changed the tariffs that they have put there. You see, they are still operating with what they operated with during day zero water.
Yeah.
You see, so now we are saying they should not behave as if they're hypocrites. You see, because now they are calling upon national government to deal with the petrol prices, yet on the other side, they are doing the same thing. Now we're saying to both of them, the national, provincial, and the local government, what they must do, all these things that we are talking about, they must deal with that, because that is having a very serious impact on ordinary workers and ordinary citizens down there.
Yeah.
You see, because now at the end of the day, petrol prices are going up. And when petrol prices are going up, the taxi fares, every transport, they are increasing their fees. Now, That is having a very serious challenge on workers in the situation, this economy that we are in. That is having a very serious bearing on workers.
Now, you, of course, held your council meeting. I think it was yesterday, or if not earlier in the week. You're saying there was a good response there. Are you expecting numbers to be
over the weekend?
Yes, over the weekend.
It was on Saturday.
Are you guaranteed the numbers?
We are going to double the numbers. We are going to double the numbers. Those who were there, they've given us a positive response. And remember, we are also working with other stakeholders. It is not only workers who are going to come out tomorrow. There are also other stakeholders, community organizations. They are also supporting the march. So now that is why I'm saying we are going to double the numbers. Hence, the Premier is so scared. And I don't know why he's scared. He must join the march.
Mr. Tsubane, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on. That is Cosatu Western Cape Provincial Chairperson, Motlatsi Tsubane. They're guaranteed of the numbers. We're going to double them. And the Premier must not be scared, but he must join the march. This, of course, as the Premier says, this is counterproductive and would certainly cause much damage to the economy that should be grappling at getting back to a recovered state.